Episode 1, The Mirror You Don't Want to Look At. Marcus liked to believe he was a rational man. 38, project manager, color-coded calendar, morning protein shake, podcast on productivity at 1.25 times speed, on paper, competent, in reality, stuck. The problem announced itself every Monday morning at 7:42 a.m. right after the second red light on Maple Avenue. His chest tightened, jaw clenched. Same thought every week. Why does this keep happening to me? Traffic, deadlines, a boss who smiled while assigning impossible timelines, a marriage that felt like two professionals sharing a spreadsheet instead of a life. Marcus blamed the city, the economy, his upbringing, Mercury in retrograde, anything but the one variable that never left the equation, himself. That morning, the radio cut out, silence, no podcast, no distraction, just his own thoughts, undisciplined, loud, irritating. And that's when it hit him, not insight, irritation. He slammed the steering wheel. This is bullshit. That single sentence summed up his operating philosophy. Principle Y, mentalism. The mind is the battlefield. At work, Marcus sat in a glass conference room while his boss explained why the project failed. Marcus already knew the script. He nodded, took notes, internally rehearsed his defense like a courtroom attorney. If they'd given me more resources, if the client hadn't changed scope, if my team was sharper, none of it landed. The boss concluded with, "We need leaders, not explanations." That line followed Marcus home like a stray dog. That night, unable to sleep, he opened a notebook. An old habit from years ago, when he still believed writing things down could change something. On the first page, he wrote, "What if the problem isn't outside my control?" The question irritated him. Good. Irritation's a crack in the armor. He kept writing. What if my mind is the system running my life? Uncomfortable silence followed. No motivational quote, no dopamine hit. Just a realization. Every situation he complained about first appeared as a thought long before it became a reality. If the mind was the source, then pretending it wasn't mattered exactly zero. That was his first punch in the mouth from reality. Shomu Principle 2. Correspondence. As within, so without. The next day, Marcus watched himself interact with people like a third-party observer. His tone was sharp, his patience thin, his body tense. And surprise, people responded accordingly. Emails came back curt, meetings dragged. His wife, Elena, sighed more than she spoke. That evening, she said, "You're always somewhere else, even when you're here." He wanted to argue. He didn't. Instead, he noticed something alarming. She wasn't attacking him. She was describing him. Inside, he was rushed, defensive, perpetually bracing for impact. Outside, his life looked exactly like that. No mystery, just correspondence. He wrote again that night, "My external chaos mirrors my internal disorder." It wasn't poetic, it was accurate. Accuracy hurts more than insults. Principle 3, vibration. Nothing stays still. Marcus began noticing his energy, not in the mystical sense, but the practical one. When he walked into a room irritated, conversations died. When he slowed his breathing before a meeting, things moved smoother. Same environment, same people, different internal frequency. He tested it deliberately. Before a presentation, instead of rehearsing arguments, he sat still for 2 minutes and regulated his breath. Long exhale. Relaxed jaw, shoulders down. The meeting didn't magically become perfect, but resistance dropped. Vibration wasn't woo-woo, it was physiology plus awareness. He wrote, "I don't attract outcomes, I broadcast conditions." That one stuck. Principle 4, polarity. Same thing, different degree. Friday night, Marcus and Elena argued, not explosively, worse. Cold, efficient, surgical. At one point she said, "You're not angry, you're just absent, that stung harder than yelling. Later, sitting alone, Marcus realized something uncomfortable. Love and resentment weren't opposites. They were the same emotional spectrum, shifted by neglect and unspoken expectations. Work was the same way. Stress and responsibility weren't enemies. They were the same pressure, interpreted differently. Polarity wasn't about choosing sides. It was about adjusting degree. He wrote, I don't need a new life. I need a different calibration. Now, Principle Fifth, rhythm. The pendulum always swings Saturday morning. Marcus felt motivated, productive, focused. By Sunday evening, he felt heavy again. Old Marcus would have panicked. New Marcus observed. Energy rose. Energy fell. The mistake wasn't the low. It was fighting the rhythm and shaming himself for it. He stopped chasing constant motivation and started planning for fluctuation. Training when strong, reflecting when tired, resting without guilt. Control wasn't domination, it was timing. He wrote, mastery isn't stopping the swing, it's riding it. And Sapus Baku, Principle 6, cause and effect. No free outcomes. The breakthrough came quietly. Reviewing his week, Marcus stopped asking why things happened and started asking what he did or failed to do before they happened. Late nights led to short temper. Short temper led to distance. Distance led to resentment. No villain, no curse, just a chain. Responsibility felt heavy, but also liberating. If effects followed causes, then different actions produced different futures. Simple, not easy. He wrote, if I don't choose causes, I inherit effects. Principle 7, gender creation requires balance. Sunday night, Marcus and Elena cooked together. No agenda, no fixing, just presence. He noticed something new when he stopped forcing outcomes, over assertive, and also stopped withdrawing, over passive. Things flowed. Initiative plus receptivity, direction plus listening, creation required both. That applied everywhere. Leadership, marriage, self-respect. He closed the notebook and wrote one final line for the week. Power without awareness is force. Awareness without action is fantasy. Balance builds reality. End of episode 1. Marcus didn't fix his life in 7 days. Anyone promising that is selling nonsense. What he did was worse and better. He stopped lying to himself, and that's where real change actually starts.